what I do in my life, I don't automatically use it to judge other people's lives. I have no rights to do that. I ultimately love what I do. So, hi guys. I decided to make a video, and this is surrounding it's surrounding a few questions that I tend to get here on YouTube and even in just real life, and it surrounds me being a homeschooling stay-at-home mom. I feel like this happened a lot more back, I'd say back in the days, and it still does happen, but now that I'm surrounded by a lot of women who are in the same boat as me. We're homeschooling and we are stay-at-home moms, so we do the same thing, and I don't know, it's like the norm to us. So it's not as prominent as it was back then before, when I didn't really know many other homeschooling moms. So the main question that I used to get, one of the main questions is, how do you do it? Because I love my kids. That's first and foremost. And with just the love in my heart, I feel like that's the first step that helps me to do what I do. However, that's easy to just say that, but at the end of the day, we all know that that alone cannot sustain or keep things going, the momentum, because you guys have seen that I've posted videos here and there talking about my struggles of wanting to get out in the work world. And it's just, as a stay-at-home mom, every now and again we may still deal with those kind of things, but that's a different video. Pushing that aside, the reality is I'm able to do it because I love my kids, and with that love and there's a desire there to want what's best for them. And if it means me being a stay-at-home mom, homeschooling mom is what's best for them, then I will gladly do that. The things that help me to do that effectively there are a series of things, and they surround the various topics that could actually pose as a threat to your homeschooling. So I could think about when it comes to just mentality and dealing and handling kids, you have to be patient, right? First of all, you have to be very, very patient. You have to be understanding. You have to be fun, because you don't want to be like, especially for homeschooling, you don't want to just be like kind of like a boring mom or a boring teacher. Quite often you get to learn that kids do enjoy learning a lot more when things are fun and enjoyable. So if you have a good spirit and you're not just strict at nature, and like I said, I'm saying that in a different context because I can be strict too, but on the regular, just getting down on their level in a sense and just talking to them and understanding them, that kind of helps. Organization is key. Structure and balancing fun. You have to have the ability to discipline. Like I said, creating the structure, having some organization. I mean, no one's perfect, so there's not going to be complete structure. I mean, I deal with acquaintances with homeschoolers, and they're very different kinds of homeschooling that homeschoolers that I've come in contact with, and even here on YouTube. So people do things differently, and they tend to do what works for their family, which is awesome. You have to have those kind of things in place to kind of help you just not go crazy, because if without any structure, you're going to be just all over the place, and your kids are not going to be disciplined enough to follow your instructions. They're not going to be disciplined enough to do any of that stuff. And I mean, this question was about me, but when they can't do that, that drives me crazy. And so that doesn't make me enjoy what I do. And then I probably wouldn't be able to do it if all those things were just kind of left and ignored and not taken into account. If without all of those things set in place, it's easy to just be miserable and to just feel overwhelmed and to feel like what in the world is going on. But I'm actively working on those. I can see the benefits, and it makes life easier for me because my kids are then able to follow instructions and listen and do what they need to do. You guys see them in the videos, like when it's schoolwork time, I usually don't have to, it's not a big deal. Everyone knows the routine. I can just say, guys, it's time for your school, and everyone gets up, gets their pencils sharpened, sit down and start doing their work. It's that easy, only because I've kind of implemented a structure and it's been there for a while, so it's kind of ingrained in them to just do it without having to argue about it. So no one argues. That's one thing that's the good thing that I do have, but it took work to get to that point. And I've had people ask, yeah, how can you stay at home all day with your kids? And I guess they also ask, like, and not go crazy. And I feel like this is designed for some people. I don't think everyone is homeschooling or stay-at-home moms are designed for everyone. And I'm not saying anyone is incapable of doing it, but if in your heart you don't feel like this could be you, that's something you definitely have to weigh and consider, because I feel like anyone can do it if they really have a change of heart. However, if you feel in your heart that it's really not for you and you feel like you just go crazy all the time, then it's probably it's something that you probably, I don't know, can't do. And I don't like to say the word can't, because I feel like everyone should be capable of staying home with their kids if they wanted to. But I do know for some people, they just handle stress differently. I know some people who just want to send their kids to school and don't mind them being there, or you get that break, and that's fine too. But it's, for me, I'm perfectly able. I'm like very motherly and maternal, so I do enjoy spending time with my kids. I always have. I get a lot of joy out of it. So even my dilemmas, my personal debates about getting into the work world, it really has nothing to do with my children. It's just me dealing with the aspect of being independent. So I'm doing what I'm doing for my kids. I'm already being independent with regards to that. But then I sometimes, it's not so much now, but it's more like struggling with the acceptance that in my family, given that my husband is fully capable of providing for all of us, it's that struggle where I've had to accept that it's okay to stay at home, and it's not that big, it's, what I'm doing is quite fulfilling too. It's just in a different perspective. I just struggled with the fact that, I could work, well, I could bring in income, but in the end, like, in reality, we don't want no one to not be there for our kids. So, and it's not to bash anyone who has that situation where they both have to work and they both have to provide for their kids, or they, you know what I mean? It has nothing to do with that. I'm just talking about for our personal selves. What I do in my life, I don't automatically use it to judge other people's lives. I have no rights to do that. So don't ever, in any of my videos when I'm explaining things for my personal self, don't ever, whoever you are, whoever's watching, don't ever take that out of it and thinking that because I'm saying certain things for me, that is automatically saying something to you. And it's not like that at all. I'm just trying to describe just where our family is, where our goals are, and what we're trying to strive for. And I think everyone's family goals are different, and that's okay. I mean, I started homeschooling. Well, technically I didn't start homeschooling then, but I had my youngest when I was 20, just turning 20, and I started homeschooling her when she was, one and a half. And back then, I guess it's not exactly considered homeschooling, but as things progressed and she was 2.5, 3, and I started seriously homeschooling her, which, I mean, it was already taking place, but where it's actually recognized as homeschooling, people would think like you're crazy, because I'm young. I was like 22, and they would think, you're so young, like surely there are lots of other things you'd like to go and do with your life. And aside from doing my school, right, or having a child so young, there's not that a lot that I would have gone, I guess, gone and done for entertainment purposes. That's just not me. So at that point, when I started homeschooling my child, and I think I was probably expecting my second at that point, like some people, to them, they're just like how do you do it? To them, they just, a lot of people that I know would still be doing their own thing as opposed to doing what I was focusing on in raising my child. And we all have different perspectives. Some people would say, well, you gotta have a life of your own too. But to me, before even having my kids, I had this inclination that when I have my kids, their lives come first, and I'm going to make sure that I do my best to give them all that they need to shape them, in this world, and just provide them the things that they need. It's not all about financial. It all has a lot to do with mentality too, because when you let the world raise your kids, then there are lots of examples out there. You can see what they grow up to be. And that's not what I want for my kids. It's important to definitely do your best as a parent to set good examples. And another thing that I always struggled with is the fact that I reflected on myself, even the things that I've considered doing, and I always thought, if I did that, that's going to make my kids feel like it's okay to do that. You know, and who am I to say that you shouldn't do that if they did it because I did it, right? That's something I always kind of had in me from a very, very young age. Thought if I did this or did that, like I'm setting a poor example, you know. And I know, like I said, this doesn't transcribe to all parents. All parents aren't going to feel the same way I feel. Some people might even say I'm boring, and that's okay. I would rather be that than a lot of other things, and that's all right. And like I said, because I say these things, it doesn't mean I am judgmental of you. It's just me saying this is me and this is who I am. So, I mean, that pretty much answers the question of how I do what I do. And it's just a matter of, there's a lot of love in my heart as to why I do it. I love my kids to death. And it's just all about them for me. And like, because I'm in the situation where I am fully capable of being here, why not? Why not take that opportunity and try to provide the best life I can with them? At home, we get to learn about God. We get to learn just about life. We get to learn a lot more because we're in a small group where we can have small discussions. We do our core work, but then we also have sometimes we have these, it's usually on Fridays, where we have these sessions where we learn about different things. So one of our study was on the flu virus, and we just focused on learning about that. One was on learning the dance capoeira, and even one of you guys mentioned something about it subscriber-wise. One was learning about LASIK eye surgery, because 3 out of 5 of our family members wear glasses, and we were curious about LASIK eye surgery, and so we looked it up. We even watched the surgery on YouTube of various people, many of them getting LASIK eye surgery, and watched it up close. So there's just so many things that we do that I adore. And the great thing that we've done, Aaron and I have both done, is we've molded them in such a way where they love to read and they love to learn. And that just makes it all that much easier, because we all kind of love that. We love to learn. And so we enjoy sitting and learning together. And we all love to read. Now, I'm sure I could be a little bit more subjective on some of the books that we have in here, because we're going to do a little big book purge. And even the book that I was reading, I wanted to talk to you guys about it, because I was going to talk, yeah. If you guys want to hear me talk about that book that I showed you guys, mention it. I don't know if you know it, but it was called Between Lovers by Eric Jerome Dickey. It's a book I actually started on account of hearing a lot of people rave about it, and someone recommended it to me because he's a Black author, and I can't say I've read many books by Black authors. However, it's just it's just different. It's a little different. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think of what I just said. I don't know if this is if it even makes any sense, or if it's structured in a way that makes it easy to understand, but it was just a little rant video just talking about just my opinions and answering the questions of some of you guys have asked, and just people in my day-to-day life have asked many a times, and those are the reasons. They help to keep me grounded and just to help me continue what I'm doing on a daily without being frustrated or what's the word, or resenting what I do, or resenting my kids, or resenting my husband, because there's no way, shape, or form where I feel like I'm held captive, or what I'm doing is my personal choice, and that's how much I love my kids, and that's how much I adore what I'm doing. It's that simple. I am doing it it's my free choice, and I'm doing it because I ultimately love what I do. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video.